The main event of Kobe Pro Wrestling Festival 2023 is the five-way steel cage survival match. Mascara contra Mascara. Ultimo Dragon versus Strong Machine J versus Shun Skywalker versus Diamante versus Dragon Kid. The rules are the matches escape only, no pinfalls or submissions. Each mask will be placed on the top of the cage. They're not wrestling on masks. It's just going to be a dupe. You must capture your own mask to escape. Shun can't grab Dragon Kids. Strong Machine J can't grab Ultimos. And the last person in the match will lose the mask. There is a not solidified rules. I'm reading this off of the Dragongate Pro Wrestling official English Facebook page. Still have not listed the rule that it is no seconds, but that appears to be a rule that is likely going to happen, but it's not been officially announced.
Yeah, this is, a history sort of defining match. It's the second time in Kobe World history, meaning 2005 and beyond, that a non-Dreamgate match or retirement match, in the case of Masato Yoshino in 2021, will headline this show. The only real comp for that is 2006 Shima versus Magnitude Kishiwada. We've joked about that match a lot. That was a brilliant piece of politicking by Shima, where he decided, at the time, the trendy thing in Drangi was the no ropes match. And he goes, well, Magnitude and I are going to have a no ropes match. And, we're not just going to take the ropes off and then put it back on later. I mean, if we're going to take them off, we might as well go on last. And so they went on after Dragon Kid and Susumu Yokosuka for the Dreamgate title. So here we have a cage match. Never been done at Kobe World before. A five-way cage is a very interesting predicament for all these guys to be in. Give me your thoughts. Give me your, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you looking forward to this match right now?
This is a through my fingers over my face, but it is a 9 for.
Yep, same.
Because I am anxious but excited about this, because this is going to require a lot of moving parts to pull off what I think they're going to try to pull off, which I'm sticking to what I've said since this match got announced in this fashion. Still think that it's going to be Strong Machine J as the last escapee with Diamante unmasking. And in order to get there, you're going to have to do a couple things to figure out with this cage match. And with people like Ultimo Dragon in this match, and with the rule set as we understand it, there's a lot of ways that this match they can try to pull it off, and if certain things don't go right, it's going to fall flat. And what I think would be a big face turn and fall for Diamante, I don't think you have to stick the landing with his face turn coming out of Kobe World.
I will give my prediction in a second, because we slightly differ on where we're at with the finish of this match. But let me ask you real hot takey sort of first take question, but I think it's worth asking you. This match, the build we've seen for it, the stakes at hand, comparing it specifically to Kakuta versus Yoshioka, which is the Dreamgate match this year, is this cage match worthy of being a Kobe World main event, do you think?
With the build that has been based around it, I think it does. Because really, and we've kind of grappled with this, to be honest, over the 6 weeks since basically the card became a little bit more clear. The fact is that the Dreamgate match, the build really was announcing the match. Like, the face-offs have not been very consistent. When Kakuta and Yoshioka have been in the ring together, they've been very much showing no strife whatsoever, clean fight, but they're going to take it to each other. With all that focus alleviated from the Dreamgate, they put it towards the Apuestas cage, and I think that for basically everyone but Dragon Kid, and they admit that Dragon Kid's role in this match is, hey, I want to protect Ultimo. They have spent the last 2 months, let alone if you really want to go back, you could probably make the argument the last 2.5 years, building to this match in a way that does feel completely earned as a Kobe World main event.
I agree. We spent a lot of time talking when it looked like it was going to be Ultimo versus Diamante at World. Okay, where does that match fit on a Kobe World card with a Dreamgate match? ideally in the main event. I made the argument, hey, that's a match that should really happen in Mexico. It just means far much more to the Mexican audience than it does the Japanese audience. Shun Skywalker and Strong Machine Jay get involved for about 24 hours there in June. We thought, okay, maybe they'll do another tag match. 2021, they did Shun and Dragon Dia versus Dia Inferno and Diamante. They could very easily run that back, same match structure and likely a similar result. And then Ryo Saito announces the cage, and Fukuoka, we get Dragon Kid thrown into the mix. And Mike, have you kept up with the recent YouTube uploads? Have you seen what Ultimo and Diamante are doing on the house shows?
I did not get to the 2 house shows from this weekend.
Okay, they're worth your time, and that obviously goes for everybody listening. It's certainly the hardest Ultimo's ever worked on the house shows that I've seen, but it's good stuff. It's heated. It's they're basically doing lucha crowd brawls, and Ultimo Dragon is using chairs and really sort of busting his ass, which he's always done with Diamante. Diamante is his good luck charm. Diamante was brought into Dragongate to work with Ultimo Dragon. This is 4 years in the making almost. I mean, Diamante debuted in August of 2019. So we're getting a payoff here one way or another, but between the Shun and Strong Machine J stuff, which I think has been really hot since March when they had that Dreamgate match, the Diamante and Ultimo stuff, which I think is peaking here. I think we're done with this feud going forward. I'll explain in just a second. That feels very hot. And you have Dragon Kid in the mix. And if I need to get a crowd reaction, I'm going to turn to Dragon Kid. I think they're in a very good spot here. I don't know if this match has the pop, if this match is registering on the buzzometer the way that I think it should. But I think for you and I and the people that are really plugged in right now, this is a big match. I mean, this has giant stakes involved.
Yeah, and it's something that they have made the cage match, that they've pulled back the usage of it to such an extent that it feels deserved when they said, no, we're not doing one in Aichi this year, and we didn't do one last year because the storylines did not present themselves or there was not a feud ready for it. Ultimo and Diamante alone have done enough to justify a cage match. And then you add in Shun Skywalker and Strong Machine J, and it just makes sense that this is the way to go with this. I don't think the tag match would have worked with these two, or with 4 guys before Dragon Kid was inserted, of course. But it's something where this is such a cater-made moment if they pull this off with the declaration of the Reiwa generation leaders coming in May after Dead or Alive. We are at this point where now this is the first big show of that era. And you have really in a position where with Diamante not being in there, being able to make the argument of being the 7th of the 6. And then you have Shun and Strong Machine J and these kind of stakes that really it's all came together in this confluence and to make it there, that I don't think if you change the feuds around or if you put other people in this match, I don't think that it works to the level it has at this point.
Whoever comes out of this match is going to come out of this match with a gigantic push. You and I are both in agreement. Diamante's losing his mask here, right?
Yeah, I know Jay laid out cases for other people losing the mask. Diamante is the only logical choice for me.
Well, let's go through them because I think we can rank them least likely to most likely. So you have Ultimo Dragon not losing, right?
Yeah, it's something where if Ultimo's losing his mask, it will be in Mexico where sponsors will pay for the mask to be lost. It won't be in Dragongate.
And also, it's just the point I made to you was, okay, if he loses the mask, there goes all of those sweet WrestleCon paydays, all of those... Yeah. And I don't even mean this as an insult, but all of those money mark indies that bring him in as Ultimo Dragon from WCW Nitro, those all go away. He's not losing his mask. That doesn't make any sense. I would put Shun Skywalker in 4th place. Shun is top heel in the company, doing excellent work, really defined character. I don't see any need for him to lose his mask. And when he debuted as a young boy, he was unmasked, and nobody was talking about how handsome Shun Skywalker is.
Right, yeah, it's Shun is someone that I think we're looking, it's going to be down the road if he's going to lose that mask. It's not going to be anytime soon.
Yeah, you can certainly. He's not in an Ultimo level position where you can go, oh well, he's never going to lose his mask. But it doesn't make any sense right now. This is not the time or place.
Cyber Kong level, like down the road, he loses the mask, and then it's like a thing that spurns a face turn. But it's going to be a long enough time that people forget about Shun Watanabe. Yes,
I think that's well put. And then you have Dragon Kid. I can't rule it out. If Ultimo Dragon is 0.01% and Shun Skywalker is 0.1%, you probably got to go Dragon Kid at 1%.
Yeah, like it's very unlikely, and this is the cliff right here. Like these three, like a combined 1.11% of a chance here. You can't Dragon Kid. There's a lot more arguments that can be made about that, but it's still very unlikely, but still more likely exponentially than Ultimo or Shun.
Let me frame it to you from this perspective, even though we both agree, but something I think about now. We talked to Jay about Kento and Fujiwara's departure and how more than anything, it's just uncomfortable change for a fan base that's gone through a lot of uncomfortable change. Is there anything more uncomfortable, more jarring, more, for lack of a better phrase, your favorite Dragon Gate is dead than an unmasked Dragon Kid? The distraction that would be in the King of Gate tournament coming up, there's no real good reason to do that either.
Yeah, like that's such a seismic thing to do to begin with, let alone on the heels as Jay left off. Like a lot of the argument for those who did not listen to the show is that there's been a lot of change and a lot of turmoil, but it might be easy if your guy is not part of it. For a group of people, SB Kento was their guy, and it's hard to say like, hey, it'll get return to stability when this happens. And adding an unmasked Dragon Kid to the list will not do anything to calm nerves.
So you find yourself in a position where you're debating between Strong Machine J and Diamante, and the argument for Strong Machine J losing his mask is he's been dominated by Shun Skywalker all year. Shun Skywalker's called him a loser. He's beat him like a drum. He's beat him up repeatedly. And if Strong Machine J loses in the same way that Shun Skywalker beat Madoka Kakuta verbally and physically en route to their Dreamgate match, well, if Kakuta would have lost, they wouldn't have, for lack of a better term, finished the story. And Kakuta just would have looked like a loser. I don't think they are in that position with Shun and Strong Machine J. I'll explain why in a second. But nevertheless, Strong Machine J loses his mask. All of a sudden, he gains more in the long term. He can shed the singlet. He can shed what might exist as second weight baggage. I'm certainly open to debate on whether or not Strong Machine J is a name that helps him or hurts him. And then you would assume an unmasked Strong Machine J gets a massive push in the King of Gate tournament. And from there, he's off to the races, likely beating Shun in the singles match, probably challenging for the Dreamgate belt later this year and possibly winning.
Yeah, no, I think no matter what, Strong Machine J, it comes out the winner of this match, because either the unmasked babyface push, where like you laid out there, or he comes out escaping a match with people who we've named 3 people whose masks aren't likely to be lost here. He does not walk into this match at all as a favorite.
Yeah, I guess that's a weird. I found myself almost confusing myself there, but he's going to win no matter what. He's either going to lose the match and win in the long term, or he's going to win the match and win in the short term. I think, and this is where I'm curious to know your thoughts, just because I'm always so high on Strong Machine J. The Diamante versus Ultimo story feels really played out. If Diamante doesn't lose his mask, it means we're getting Ultimo versus Diamante in Mexico at some point, likely next year. And to me, that is going to be like, oh, all right, more, another 6-man tag, another crowd brawl, another promo to get us there. Now they're doing it in Mexico. It's another show we've got to do the same song and dance for. It feels like the time for Diamante to lose his mask. In a counterpoint to the thing I just laid out about, hey, Strong Machine J has been called a loser by Shun Skywalker over and over again. I feel like there's more left in the tank with Shun and Strong Machine J. There's a Danger Escape match there. There's more tag team matches there. There's more chances for Strong Machine J to elevate himself. That doesn't need to come in this match.
Yeah, that's the way that that's the way why Jay, no matter what, comes out of a winner, whereas Diamante, on the other side of the coin, you're just prolonging it at that. And it's just like, at that point, if Diamante does not lose his mask, I don't want to see him in the ring of Ultimo Dragon for a year, like even a 6-man tag, because at that point you've already like shown like, hey, we've been wanting to do this for 3 years, but guess what? We're still not doing this here, and you're going to have to go wait in Mexico for it. Like at that point, I would be so frustrated with that, because of how much time and how much valuable time on cards has been devoted to Ultimo and Diamante. Whereas you're absolutely right. Like there is so much left in Shun and Jay that they don't have to figure into the result whatsoever. And there's still enough there to go like, okay, they haven't finished their feud. Let's keep it up. Let's go Dangerous Gate. Let's see if they... Case, would you be surprised if by the end of the year, let's say Shun and Jay both escape the cage with their masks? I think that there's a very likely chance that they might have a singles Apuestas by the end of the year.
That'd be awesome. You know, this seems to be Ryo Saito's calling card. I don't love all of his booking patterns. I do love the way that he's approached these mask matches, the two that he's booked. So, not the two, he's booked a bunch, because Diamante took Shimazu's mask, and then he took Daya's mask, and I think I'm forgetting one in there.
There's those two. There's been a lot of light stakes Apuestas, like the... I'm trying to think time frame wise when he was appointed. I don't know if he was appointed when Ichikawa versus Marufuji turned into an Apuestas. Like there's been a lot of just general like Apuestas, I feel like, over the last year or so.
Let me throw this idea at you. This is my front runner. This is what I think is going to happen in the main event of World. It's down to Shun, Strong Machine J, and Diamante. And Strong Machine J prevents Shun from getting out of the cage. He escapes. He gets a moment of triumph over Shun. And then we're left with the two Z-Brats guys in the middle of the ring, which just by proximity begins to speed up the Diamante babyface turn, which then you say Shun wins, which, okay, heel winning in the main event, very strange for Kobe World, but you get the Diamante face turn at the end of the show.
Yeah, I think then you're counting on the crowd to automatically go towards Diamante, which I think they will, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's Shun and not like Ben-K. It's a definitive heel in Shun Skywalker.
Right, and the person who's been arguably the most heelish wrestler in this company for the last 24 months.
Yes.
So it gives you that. I like that. I'm just so interested in the idea that Shun has turned on people in the middle of the Apuestas matches before, and I feel like you kind of need that.
I have a hard time arguing that. Dragon Daya losing his mask was one of the most shocking results in the history of Dragongate, and they have that spot, that interplay in their back pocket for this match as well. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, but I at the end of the day, we both come to the same conclusion, and I think that does, coming out of Kobe World, as we talked about Jay, it does make Diamante one of the easy favorites for King of Gate coming out of the main event, likely unmasking with a big babyface push.
It has to be a big babyface push coming out of this for whoever is the victor, because they are closing Kobe World. And that is why, even though this is the gimmick match that it is, with the build that it's had compared to the Dreamgate match, which I was all for in the beginning, but the build that it's had, which has been lackluster, you are still closing Kobe World with either Diamante or Strong Machine J or something truly, truly shocking. So if it's Diamante or Strong Machine J, King of Gate is the next week, and my God, are they going to have a one, feast or famine scenario in front of them, and two, a rocket pack strapped to their back, because this is the biggest show of the year, and they're kind of in a position where it's two upper mid-carders that are in a position to get elevated here.
Yeah, no, and I think that if we walk out without that kind of elevation happening, like if we walk out of it and it's just and it's like Ultimo unmasking Dragon Kid, like how weird that sounds, but or like Shun losing his mask, then they have lost that opportunity. And I think you would have to look at the match somewhat as a failure.
I think it's important, to explain why Diamante's got to be the clubhouse favorite here is he's not like Dragon Gate's Mexican show pony. He's not a gift guy. He's not a spot guy. He's not a foreigner in Dragon Gate, which for so long, if you weren't Pac or Ricochet, had a certain ceiling to it, and I think had a certain connotation to it. Diamante stayed during COVID, which made him family. And as we've talked about in this show repeatedly, because I talk to people that go to Dragon Gate shows, I go, is his merch selling? They go, yes. I say, is he over in the building? They go, yes. I said, could he realistically challenge for the Dream Gate belt tomorrow? They go, yes. And that is with him as Mexican Power, Diamante with a mask, 4 years of being a heel. You take a mask off this good-looking, chiseled out of granite man, you put him in gold class, and you send him off to the races, you have a main eventer on your hands.